Let's get on with the panel now. And as I mentioned, Susie O'Brien and Stephen Senatiempo joining me now live. There you go. I never thought I'd be doing any live royal reporting, but, you know, we live and we learn. Good to talk to you both. Your assessment first up, Susie, of how the royal visit's gone down and how bad the drama from Lidia Thorpe has been in amongst it all.
Oh, look, I mean, I actually thought Lidia Thorpe's lowest moment was when she got chucked out of a gentleman's club for swearing obscenities at some of the patrons. Or perhaps when she said to a Liberal senator, well, you should have kept your legs shut. Well, she should have kept her mouth shut the other day. What an absolute disgrace for an elected member of Parliament, even though, as you say, she was elected as a Green. Who knows who she represents now? And I think it was really disgraceful the way that she behaved. And all it has done is set the Aboriginal cause back so far and, you know, so embarrassing for people, for, you know, so upsetting for Marsha Langton, for, as you said, Auntie Violet, and really, she should resign. She said, oh, I don't expect to be re-elected. I'm just going to sit this one out for the next 3.5 years. Well, what is going to be left of the Aboriginal cause at the end of that 3.5 years? What a disgrace.
Yeah, she's a shocking individual. This is childish behaviour and it's really disappointing. But, Stephen, it gets to a bit of a problem here we have in politics. It happens lower houses and upper houses, state and federal, but it's where people can be elected under one banner and then resign from it. And, of course, they get to see out their term. It's especially bad in the upper houses, especially in the Senate, because you're only elected on a ticket. No one really knows your name. No one puts a tick alongside your name anyway. Plus, you're elected for 2 terms. So 2 terms under the Greens ticket, which she shunted away. So it's so undemocratic. She's so unrepresentative. And we ought to look at changes where if you go away from the ticket that elected you, then you should have to leave and they should be able to replace you.
Chris, can I make 2 comments before we get to this? Firstly, I'm loving that you, an out and proud Republican, are reporting on the royal visit with such joy. So let me say that first. And secondly, every royal court needs a fool. And I think Lidia Thorpe has proved that she is that. But look, I don't know why we keep giving oxygen to this illegitimate senator who's taking our money under false pretences. Illegitimate because she doesn't believe in the institution which she serves. And secondly, false pretences because, as you say, she was elected as a Green but now sits as an independent. And I think that's the referendum we need to have, and it'll get up with 100% support. But we've just got to stop giving her oxygen. That's exactly what she wants. And I just think it's extraordinary that you've got a whole bunch of Ngambri and Ngunnawal elders welcoming the King, and some clown from Victoria comes in and talks about the land being stolen. The elders from here in Canberra seem to be fine with it. I mean, seriously, we've just got to stop talking about it and stop giving her airtime, turn the cameras off, and then she might just go away silently.
Yeah, well said there. And yeah, I am doing some royal reporting there. We've got full screen pictures there of where the royals disembarked. I don't know about joy. I tell you what, it is very joyful to be describing Sydney Harbour and showing that to people around this country and overseas at the moment too. But there's been another ugly side to this, Susie, with a statue of Queen Victoria daubed in red paint overnight. I mean, honestly, what good does this do anybody or any cause?
See, I don't actually mind this one so much because there's no active threat, there's no violence. It was done early in the morning. And you know what? Whoever did it will no doubt be caught because there's CCTV cameras everywhere through that part of Sydney. So, look, I think that more so than Lidia's stunt, her performative stunt, it does reflect that the colonial legacy represented by Queen Victoria is tainted for so many people. So I don't really mind a little bit of red paint thrown around at dawn on that statue perhaps, but you know what, keep away from the royals and let the rest of us enjoy the visit.
Indeed, I'll tell you what. Well, this will gladden your heart, Stephen. Was the polling that shows the approval rating for King Charles is higher than either Peter Dutton or Anthony Albanese. That's a low bar, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess that's right. But of course, it doesn't stop the Republican movement from running around saying only 8% of the population support the monarchy. I don't know where the hell they're getting their polling from. But on the Queen Victoria thing, fair dinkum, if you can't get your message across without vandalism and damage and destruction destruction of property, then it shows your intellectual and moral bankruptcy. As simple as that.
Yeah, as I'm looking at that little picture at the corner of our screens, I think I was right. I think that is Admiralty House, where they're retiring to after their busy day across Sydney and Western Sydney and Parramatta and around the place, and of course the Opera House forecourt and out on the harbour, and they'll be able to spend the night there at Admiralty House, which are very, very fine digs. It says a lot about this country and our system, Stephen. Having been into Kirribilli House and Admiralty House, I can tell you the Governor-General's digs are much better than the shoddy little joint that the mere Prime Minister gets. Now, Susie, let's move on to some other issues. And there's a report today about 70% of us in Australia who are getting close to retirement thinking we will work beyond 65. To me, that's a no-brainer, right? Because at my age, I'm seeing 65 as the new 35.
Well, the clock's ticking, isn't it? Well, you know, I'm 53 and I can barely make it to 5:30 some days, so I don't know, like 65 just seems like a really long way away. But it really depends. You know, at the moment we've got a third of people saying that they're still going to be working at 65. Nearly one in 10 still working at 70. And I think if you're doing that because you want the engagement, you're still fit and healthy, you've got something to offer, more power to you, good on you. But if you're doing it because at 70 you've run out of money and you've got no other means but to get back into the workforce, I think that's very, very sad. It's going to be a big effort for a lot of people. Yeah,
I think that's rough. That's the thing, Stephen. You don't want people to think they have to work till they're 70 in order to make ends meet. But where people are able to retire and keep working either full-time or part-time because it's what they want to do for fulfilment, good on them.
Yeah, as long as that's the reason. And can I just say, as a breakfast radio host, 50 is the new 80. But moving right along, if you're doing it by choice, that's fine. But if you feel like you've got to do it, and I think most people probably think they have to do it out of necessity, and that's the real problem.